we can start going into the details. Like the shape for them. Remember, it all started out from here, and all I did was create like a wig that encompassed the whole head. And if it's easier for you, free to turn on the actually let me create a new symmetrical rulers. Free to turn on the rulers to make things balance first, and then you can separate them later. It to be a little bit spiky. I'll be adding the ears later too. This and I really don't know what this hair is called, but I I used to really love Cardcaptor Sakura, and this was her bangs, and I just it's very convenient because it section out things so easily. Something like this. Now, after we have everything kind of laid out, I'll go into different like I'll try to make things a little bit different because for hair, actually for anything that's other than the eye or thing that's supposed to be symmetrical, if you want to make things natural, you don't want it to be symmetrical for each other. And like the hair, you kind of don't want it to be the same on both sides. So right now I'm just adding a little bit more, add more characteristic, more hair over here and over here actually. Just lay down the color. Don't worry about the messiness. But you can see the form and the shape a lot better compared to just doing normal line art. Trying to make sure the overall shape is like the shape-ish is the same. Like you don't want this to be way too long over here, or if that's the hairstyle you're going for. But for this, because I want her to have more of like a bob cut, very messy bob cut. With this here, section out in the back, more. Okay, I think this is pretty good. Right now, I'll be adding a little bit more flair. Let's call it flair, but I like to add a little bit more of, especially for the under hair. All this is, I think it's called two-tone hair, but with this technique, you can see which hair is like in the front and which hair is like more in the back. This way, it's just easier for us to visualize things better. You can do a lot with just color. Like so far, I haven't cleaned anything, but you guys can at least see what it looks like, right? So just continue on cleaning it up. All I did was using only one brush. I haven't changed the brush at all. This well, the what else? Add a little ahoge. Why? Because it's cute and it brings characteristic. It adds more flair to the character. Like, shape up. We're basically just sculpting everything. Okay, so now after we have the form of the hair, and I am happy with this form of the hair already, and you can basically see what it looks like, right? If I were to do this just sketch, it's gonna be a little bit hard to actually see or envision the hair until you actually put the color on here. But I was like, why do we have to do that step when we can just put the color on and then clean it up later? That makes no sense. Because back then, I would draw out a very elaborate, like, I would sketch out a very elaborate hair that looks beautiful with just line art. And after I put the base color on and I want to change certain things, I would have to fix the line art again. So now with this technique, I can actually see if I'm happy with it. And if I don't like it, I can just change it without being afraid of messing anything up because this is still a sketch. This is why it is very convenient to just do color sketch. Here we go. So right now, what I like to do first, first things first, what I like to do is determine the light source. So the light source, it's gonna be around like, usually it's a ring. Again, this is really based on style too, because I see a lot of people do different type of highlight rendering, but usually it's a curve. It's either a curve or it's like this. But I like to do this curve. Why? Because you look at the face anatomy, it's kind of like this. So I kind of want to keep the perspective all together, and it brings a stronger design. It it result in a stronger and more coherent rendered of the face or of the character in general. And after determine the highlight. And as you can see, as I'm drawing or as I'm sketching the character, I've already laid down some type of shadow, like some type of yeah, some type of shading for the hair. And I do apologize for doing that unconsciously because I'm so used to doing it. But same principle, usually light hits from here, then all of the shadow is probably gonna stay at the bottom. That's it. Now, how do we clean up this mess? Like you might look at this and be like, hey yo, I don't know how to clean this up. I would have to line art it. No, don't no line art. Stop it right there. Just follow me. Believe in the technique. Trust in the process. It's going to be okay. Now, I have this, and this is where you can actually like turn and zoom in your your canvas because you're dealing with the details and you want to clean things up. No, it's okay to zoom in because we already have the overall shape. You're just cleaning up stuff. What I'm doing is I'm cleaning up the edges and I'm using like a little bit darker color for the outline. And I haven't done anything there. I haven't done anything much. Basically this cleaning up. We're doing now our cleaning up. Cleaning up. So that we can visualize the shape a lot better. So I think this is good enough cleaning. It's usually just at the face, like it's usually just at around the face area that I want to clean because I want to see what it looks like. And then after this, I'm just gonna start like with the outline, which actually clean it out from the outline. I actually like to use the more brownish outline. Any outline that is a little darker than your skin is related to your skin. I could have used a darker gray for the outline, but I want to create something more coherent. Using this is the best choice. And for the area around the face, what I like to do, and this is very stylistic again, I like to get the skin color a little bit. I do just one stroke, very lightly one stroke, and then click on that color, and then you just add in kind of like a gradient instead of you doing like your alpha lock and you gradient it. This is basically just lightly paint on top of it, right? Keep on rendering. Remember to really distinguish or remember to construct the hair structure. Remember the root of it right here, and then from there, just the line coming out of it, directional. Like you can see all the hair. It's coming up to this one point right here. That is that's all. Right. Heavy hand here. Up. Try to make all the line art thinner, skinnier, a lot more professional, clean, and minimalist looking. Darker. But like the hair shading, as you can see, it's kind of look like grass, the growing grass. And I would shade it along the edge of the hair, like the direction of hair. So for example, if this group of hair right here, I would go, I would shade it like this so that it all goes up to this point up here. Then it's not a rule, so I think it's just very easy and convenient. Thing what you need to do now is clean. especially around the face. I want things to be a lot like well rendered around the face. Well, actually, gotta poke the eye right there. And slowly you can see things are taking shape, right? I was like, I just trust in the process. It will be all okay. Not mossy green. This is not green. This is like teal but darker back. Radiant light. The more I'm doing this, more defined the hair will get. And the whole concept is building, keep on building on top of thing. Let's say it's easier to have like a darker color at the base first. You build like you add more highlight on top of it. I think it would be easier, but follow whatever process you want. You can try mine out and see if it works for you. This here drives me mad. Hmm. Especially when we shade from dark to light, you'll have a lot of midtone in between shading, the result of blending a light color with a dark color. And I incorporate that into the shading too. Add a lot of value to your hair. Don't just do them flat. Make volume. But when we get to this stage, a lot easy to see, right? Shape of the hair, getting a lot more confident. Be like, oh, okay, don't look too bad. Art is about experimenting. Don't limit yourself. As you can see, I can change a lot of elements without bothering anything else, like without redrawing the line art. It's so convenient. Let's continue the rendering. Get a brush that is pointy at the end. Okay, if there's like marks, go and clean them up later. Up. I like to add extra hair strands for a more natural feel. Like right now, everything looks really nice and clean. This is very, very extra to show you guys how I would normally render hair. Directional strokes that goes along the shape of the hair piece that I'm working on. Just that. Just follow the curve of the piece you're working on. And I think one thing that a lot of people are having issue is that they overshade their hair. There's no need to overshade. As long as you create a form, that's good enough. Now, flip it and then see if I can add more. And then for the highlight, I would render it a little bit better. So with the motion of up, down, I would get a color, the outer color that is not the highlight color, go downward. This, down, up. that more up there. Right here, I want to blur everything. You want to create some kind of shape for the highlight. Put it over here. Put it over here. And it really like not really needed. Then I'll fix on the ahoge. And then just imagine the ahoge as like a piece of ribbon. Structure is basically like curves, flips, and backside. That's how you would break down the shape. What I'm doing now, it up. For the shape in here, it is totally okay if you want to use this color, this turquoise color that we're using, show the underside of a piece of hair, or in this case, we're doing two tones. Exactly that. It's just that add a little bit the tip. Yeah, new cleaning up. Better. Okay, now all I need to do, because everything is really nicely shaped right now, all I need to do is to add the line art right at the end. And this is to make the whole piece more clean, but it's not needed if your style is more of a loose, brushy, sketchy style. You don't have to do it. This is for the folks that are very detailed about the line art and everything. Like, you can still do line art, just do it at the end when everything is checked out, and you don't have to actually, for line art, you're just making the shape stronger. You're not line arting the whole piece. I think that's one of the biggest difference. You're not trying to do the whole piece. You're just outline it so it stands stronger on its own. You can see the structure of the hair better. But now, after I think everything looks somewhat good, I would create a clipping layer on top of it. Choose hard line, get a hairbrush, add a little shadow, certain parts. It's okay if it's like the color. Oh my gosh. Okay. Always delete it, or we can always erase it. No need to freak out. Here, something like this, and now really, really low. Merge down. Copy the layer. Paste. Here another layer. Flip it. Go to edit. Go to tonal correction. Go to tone curve, and then you play around with. Oh, when you get to something that you like, yes, different. You can either go half and half between the first and the second, but I really like this version. This looks really nice from far away. This is not 100% rendered. I would spend a little bit more time on this, but we only have so much time for each chapter. I hope that you learn something out of this technique, and I think for the next chapter we'll go over, maybe we go over another hair for the male. I think we should do one hairstyle for the male, then we'll go into face rendered with the eyes and with the skin. And then we'll do ears, and then we'll do facial expression. Then we'll go straight to our illustration for the class. So I'll see you in chapter 11. Bye bye.